As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study Exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Good evening, professional colleagues. Let me use this opportunity to welcome you all to another episode of ICAN on Air. And I will be starting today's episode by celebrating with our great institute, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, on the 57th, what I can call anniversary that this institute was established. The institute was established September 1st, 57 years ago. And it is my pleasure to come celebrate with the institute on this great milestone, contributing a quarter to the economic growth of our great nation. And to the best of it, it has produced a lot of practitioners, seasoned one that has contributed to the growth of the nation. On this note, I say happy birthday to the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. And on that exciting note, we are starting today's episode on the first day of the month of September to commemorate the birthday of our institute. And I have today with me a seasoned erudite scholar who has been with us sometimes, who has come to discuss with us again auditing in the fintech environment. And it's no other person than Dr. Wale Awe, FCA. He is someone who has over 38 years post-degree experience in economics, accounting, auditing, banking, consulting, and he has worked as a managerial person across board, a member of our great institute who trained with Deloitte in 1986 to 1990 before he moved into the FinWork space. He did a lot of analysis in discretionary practice in Ekiti for the DFID in 2005 and was an international consultant. And he has come to discuss with us a great topic for today, auditing in the fintech environment. You and I know how strategic and important this is, and we are ready to have our guests discuss with us. But before I proceed, let me quickly go on a very short commercial, and when I come back, I'll be coming in with our guest for today to do justice to our topic of today. Please stay tuned. I will be right back. Okay. While I'm waiting for the technical team to give me the commercial, I think I will want to assure you that we are in for another exciting moment today, Thursday, the first day of the month of September, which is the ninth month. But let me once again state that I have a commercial that I need to share with you, and I will be right in a very short time to bring in our guest. Please stay tuned. I will be right back. Sincerely, I want to apologize. We seems to be having end, but I'm sure that we'll put this to a reasonable place in a very short while. I'm supposed to go on a very short break and come back with our guest to be part of us today. The technical team, are we ready for our commercials?
Save the date. Make it an Save the date. Make it in October to remember as you register and plan to attend the 52nd ICAN Annual Accountants Conference. Date 10th to 14th October 2022. Venue ICC Abuja and Sheraton Abuja. For more inquiries, call 070-501-80222 or 090-625-47263. You can also visit the ICAN website www.icanig.org to register. Thank you.
Welcome back. Our guest for today, Dr. Olawale Awe, FCA. It's nice to have you around.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. While we do justice to our topic today, let's go straight to say our viewers for this program transcend the general public of whom we have non-accountants, we have professionals, knowing fully what the relevance of auditing in corporate business discuss. I want you to give to our global viewers and audience, please, what is auditing?
Yes, auditing to us, the practitioners, is the examination of the financial statements of our clients from the angle of being independent of those clients and their management. And what do I mean by that? We go into the field, we are engaged by the owners of the business who tells us to go into the field, look at the books of the company, which is our client now, and at the end of the day, we put our procedures into place such that we can express an opinion to the owners as to whether the financial statements are true and fair. And if we have anything to the contrary, we also report it in our report, which contains our opinion. That is auditable. A lot goes into getting to know what is behind the financial statement by checking the books and records, and at the end of the day, express an opinion. So that is auditing in a short form. But that is from the angle of the external auditor.
Very wonderful submission, Dr. Awe. Going through the books and expressing an opinion.
Yeah.
I want to please say, can you go through the objectives and benefits of auditing, and dwell on the different types of audits and what makes audits that unique subject to really guide against.
Yes, audit is unique in the sense that the work we are doing is, guided by law, and even the profession itself is guided by law. Why? Its uniqueness stems from the fact that we have access to things that others do not have access to, and whatever we ask to go, we go because of the level of certification that is involved. That's what makes it unique. But when we look at the processes and benefits, we can start with the benefits of auditing. When we go into a client's office, the fact that we were there last year, and they know we are coming again this year. If anyone wants to commit fraud or irregularities, they tend to say, the auditors will come and they will discover this. Every time they will be talking about auditors because of the fear of the fact that you will discover and you express your opinion, and your opinion will be respected by the owners of the business. And the benefits also goes to the client directly in the sense that by you coming, you do not only check to see that there are no frauds and irregularity. Actually, that is not why you are there, but it sort of put the client staff on their toes. But when you come as auditor and you look at the processes, look at the controls, look at the books and records, and where things are not the way they should be, you report them in your management letter. And this is a major benefit to the owners of the business to know which areas to touch, what processes are no more working. It may have been working at the initial stage, but over time, people may have slept over the processes and procedures, and they no more follow the processes the way it used to be. And by the time you report on them, people will wake up and say, no, we should do this better. And in our management letter, we also have for responses. So they will have to tell us why they were not doing it. And if they don't, by the time we come the following year, we also refer to it. And then another benefit that comes from we going into the client's office to audit is the fact that we also let them know what they do not know about legal implications of their actions and inactions. Maybe some clients, you get to the office, they have not registered with some regulators, or they are not rendering their CAC reports, or they are not even paying tax, or they are involved in activities that may be questioned by the law. The auditor will tell you, this is not right. Go and register, do things the way it should be done. Or even when you keep a staff for so long without promotion, the auditor may tell you this will demoralize this staff, and it may not render the best services to you. These are the kind of things, benefits here and there, that auditors to bear when they come to the client's space to audit. And then even the applications that the client is using, especially in this time and age, the applications may not be strong enough. You can imagine somebody relying on manual at this time and age. The auditor will tell you, why not buy an accounting package? The price may not even go beyond this. These are the benefits, and so on and so forth. So many things come in as a result of the auditor coming into your space. These are various benefits and many more.
This is awesome, Mr. Wale. Since our desire today is to dwell on auditing in the fintech environment, can you please educate our audience on the fintech environment, what it entails, and go through the fintech environment?
Yes, when we talk of fintech itself is an amalgam of two words, financial and technology. So when we talk of financial technology, we are talking of the technology that we use to drive the delivery of financial services. That's why in the banking sector today, we talk about digital financial services, that is, services that are delivered on digital platforms. And so when we talk of fintech, we are saying that what financial services that are delivered through technology. And we have so many fintech organizations around in Nigeria today. As at the last time I counted, we were talking about something above 200 fintech institutions or organizations in Nigeria, rendering various levels of fintech services, banking services in the area of opening of accounts, giving loans, savings, insurance, and so many other products that they have in their portfolio. Some of them they are into investment activities, and some are even into crypto. Though so many governments are against that, and they tend to control that area. But the fintech, when we look at it and we compare it with the orthodox banks, even though both of them are into banking activities and they render banking services, digital financial services. But the difference is that the fintech organizations, they don't go about opening branches like our orthodox banks, and they rely mainly on rendering financial services through digital platforms. You see customers, they sit in their offices or at home, on the road, the one we call on the go. While they are in traffic and all that, they transfer money even from one account to the other, their own accounts, or they transfer to somebody they owe, or to somebody from who they want to make purchases, or they pay taxes online, or they want to pay for electricity, water rate, and all that. So many things are done online these days. You want to pay for your DSTV, you just punch some figures on your phone and you are paid. And you want to make transfer, or you want to pay the salaries of your staff, you just transfer to the accounts and you have made payment. Unlike those days when you have to issue checks, give it to them, they go to bank to cash it, or they lodge it into their account, or you create a list of your employees, bank by bank, and then attach a check and send it to those banks to help you transfer to the accounts of your staff. But today, you just make transfers in your office to the accounts of your staff. You don't need any middleman. It's as if you are paying them directly yourself, and that's what it is. But behind that is the fintech company which drive these activities. And so it's as if this money is inside your phone and you're just transferring it to your staff, or to the one you owe, or the one you want to pay for services, or the one you want to buy from. But actually, the backbone is the fintech company which render these services to you. But incidentally, the banks also, though they've started internet banking before the fintech actually come on stream, but they too are waking up, collaborating with fintechs, and some of them are fintech arms. And then another dimension to it is the providers of the technical services. That is, some are carriers of internet services like MTN, Glo, and all of them. You discover that these people also, they are into fintech, rendering fintech. They have fintech arms that provide banking services today. So the fintech is the way to go, and is here with us. And the benefits are so enormous. You push the middleman away. It's as if you are relating directly with the person you are paying it to. You make interbank transfer without visiting the bank. And even to the financial institutions, the banks themselves, there are advantages. And the advantage is that your banking flood now is not flooded. There are some banks today, if you are withdrawing below 100,000, then you have to go to the ATM to withdraw your money. You can't enter the banking hall because they won't attend to you. These are the various benefits, and it has come to stay, and is growing the economy.
Thank you very much, Dr. Awe. I think I seem to be having an echo back from my side. Nobody, I think the person watching it. Let me apologize for the viewers. Let me just say, based on your allusion on the submission that you just given about the fintech, can you take us to audits in fintech environment or ecosystem. This service the requirements and the challenges of such engagement.
Thank you. Auditing the fintech environment, we just have to concentrate on the key areas. You know, when you want to look at the fixed asset and all other things, they are the same here and there. But we want to look at key areas. Normally, when we go on audit, especially in such an environment that we know is novel, it's new to us, and you are an auditor, maybe this is your first client in that space. The first thing you do is knowledge of the business. You want to have an understanding of the knowledge of the client organization and an understanding of what they do and the industry in which they operate. And that is number one. The auditor has got to look at the industry, read about it from the media, go into the internet.
Psalm 43.
When you go into the work, you'll be able to get proper understanding of what
Maketh me
goes
to lie
on.
down in green
Then
pastures.
we
Leadeth me beside your
discover
still
in this case,
He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear
we
no
need to
evil.
look at regulations. Regulations in the environment. This is very important. And you know that it's an environment, it's in the regulatory sector, and the operators in the sector will not just sit down and allow somebody to enter the sector without being registered. You have to obtain your license, and then you have to go to your carriers, and the carriers too are regulated. Those are the ones that provide the API, the backbone to run the services. So the regulators are there, the backbone providers are there, the internet operators are also there. So the fintech company will have to relate with these people. And the fintech companies also have their own organization, which forms a platform to relate with the regulators. So you have to look at the regulatory environment. What is the regulator expecting from the fintech organization? And how do they operate? What are the laws they must comply with? What are the kind of returns they must render to the regulators? What are the do's and the don'ts in the industry? And what is going on in the industry, so that when you start your audit, you'll be able to know whether your client is complying or is not complying. Then that will lead you to the internal control structure. You look at your client's internal control system and see whether the system in place is in a position to capture all that needed to be captured, to make returns, to keep the accounts of customers properly. Today, on the average, a fintech organization will attend to 10,000. We handle minimum of 10,000 transactions in a month, minimum. So you can look at 10,000 transactions. And therefore, the internal control system must be robust to be able to capture each of these transactions without errors. And when we go as a user of this, some of these banking apps, you see some controls here and there, but it may not be visible to ordinary users. But there are some of them that are visible. Like you put in your password more than 3 times, you will be locked up. Or you leave the app running for more than 2 minutes, the app will lock you out. These are controls that are even visible to ordinary users. So you have to get the internal control system or get to understand it. When you do that, the next thing is to determine whether the internal control system that the fintech company have put in place is strong enough to be relied upon as capable of capturing these transactions without error and giving you a financial statement that will be free of error and irregularities. Then after that, you now look at the risks that are inherent in such an environment. Some risks are associated with some particular environment. For example, hackers could come in, then the company could lose out customers' information inadvertently. And when this is done, somebody could sue them. These are some of the risks that are inherent in such an environment. And as an auditor, the next thing you will now do, you need to prepare your e-banking audit programs that will help your staff in handling the different areas of the audit, so that nothing will be left untouched and they will do a good job. And it will be good enough to follow for the person who is doing the review, like their managers, who follow them to the field or visit them on the field to do review. And then a point we need to note is that these transactions are captured online, the recording is handled by machines, and therefore all that you are dealing with are handled by machines and not humans. And so if there is any loophole somewhere, it will be replicated, and that will give problems. And millions upon millions may have gone within few days of the default or the weakness in that particular control area. So all these need to be looked at. And when we go into the field, there are some technical areas that we need to review, because we have defined that it's an area that is online, real time, no paperwork. The trade that you have are what is stored in their system, and the logs. You can rely on that. Who log in at so time, who did what and all that. They are all there. So even the customer's log, as he log in and the transactions he made, they are all recorded, so that he can repudiate what he had done and say, no, I didn't make a transfer. Even on his phone or laptop, he could see the history of all the transactions he had engaged in, either the outgoing or the incoming money and all that. He will see the history, and the date and the time will be there, apart from the alert that will be sent to him and the recipient of the money. But there are nine key areas that must be reviewed by the auditor. I'll go through them quickly. The application security. The app that the fintech company is using must be robust. The source must be a strong source, and it must be one that is free of errors. And when the auditor is testing, it will not test with live transaction. It will test with dummy transactions and see whether some transactions which are not authorized could go in, or beyond some limits could go in and all that. So the app security has to be tested. What of the OS security? That is the operating system security. The operating system that is the driving, just like some of us who use laptop, we rely on Windows and all that, Linux or the other systems, so you have to make sure that the operating system is robust, is one that could be trusted, not just an operating system that is not strong. If the company itself will run a loss if it should go into such to use such a system. What of the network security? Because the system is on the net, and you got to monitor the network, that it is not through the network that hackers will come in. If I log in through my app and I make a transaction, it is not that, assuming I'm an hacker, I open an account with a fintech company, I should not be able, through that app I'm using on my phone or my system, be able to enter into their system and transact other businesses beyond transferring to from my account to another account or receiving money. Beyond that, so there should be a limit. There should be a level you can get into and beyond which you cannot go. And such limits are given to other users, even within the fintech organization, so that they will not, somebody who is just a developer will not go into operation, and an operator will not go into development to tamper with the key system that is driving the actions of the organization. Then we look at logical areas. That is, there are some tests. For example, passwords. When you give passwords, is it strong? Is it not strong? The organization will advise you the password is weak. It must be so length, maybe 6 digits, 8 digits, 4 digits. All that kind of controls, they must be there. They are the logical access controls. Then we also go into data integrity. The data of the customers which must not be tampered with, which must not be exposed to unauthorized access, must be secured. So this too, the auditor will have to review it, that the data of the clients are secured. It will be embarrassing for someone to just see data somewhere else. You will sue the fintech organization for exposing your data. So these are important. And then we look at business continuity and disaster recovery. Some of the fintech organizations, they keep the main database. They also have an alternative database. They run pari passu. As you are making transactions, the main database is updated. The alternative database is also updated, so that at any point in time, if something happened to the main database, you can quickly rely on the alternative database, which you also use to ameliorate the problem that just occurred to the main database. These are some of the controls areas that the auditor must review, and he must also check that there are no redundancies in the system. You don't keep data, duplicate data here and there because of efficiency. If the system is heavily loaded than it should be, then there will be problem. And redundancy slows down the system. These are areas that the auditor must look at, and the auditor too must know his own potential liability. He must look at his competence. And if it's not that competence, look at who to collaborate with or where to build up his competency before he takes up such an assignment. Thank you. Moderator, should I still go on? I said maybe there are some other questions for me.
Very wonderful submission, Dr. Wale. Environment of skills. Can you hear me, sir?
Not clearly, so faintly.
Okay. Let me just quickly take a very short break. I will work with our technical team, and we will be right back to see what the problem is so that we can fix that is happening. So on this note, let's just quickly go on a very short commercial. When I'm back, I'll bring back our guests to continue, even with some of the things that we are discussing on auditing in the fintech environment. I will be right back shortly. Okay, while the technical team are trying to put their things in place, Dr. Wale, can you hear me now?
Faintly. I'm hearing faintly. Or do I use my
earpiece? Let me proceed because I'm actually... Let's try your earpiece with it, sir, so that we can see what is all about.
I have an earpiece here. I have an earpiece.
While our guest is trying to actually get his earpiece so that he can hear me clearly, let me on this note once again remind us all about the program of the Institute talking about the 52nd Annual Accountant Conference that will be holding in October 10 to 14 at the International Conference Center and Sheraton Hotel in Abuja. The topic of the theme for the conference is no other thing than Nigeria adopting sustainability for economic growth. And also, we have the World Congress of Accountants coming up November 18 to 21 at the Joe World Convention Center in India. And I know that as an institute, we are fully prepared, able to be part of some of these conferences. Mr. Wale, can you hear me clearly now, sir?
Yes, I have my earpiece on. I'm hearing you.
Very wonderful. Thank you very much. Let's proceed on this.
Yes.
Going by the submission that you gave, while you're taking us through the fintech environment and some of the things auditor needs to take note of when they are auditing this organization. I just want to ask, are there required skill sets that are unique? Let me emphasize that again, that are unique to auditing in a fintech environment. And how does auditor equip
Okay.
himself with those skills?
Okay. Uh, we are talking about the skill set that one we need to audit in the fintech environment.
Dr. Wale, did you
Number
get my
one, one must be a solid accountant.
My network is fine now.
With is required audit training is very important. We we got to train ourselves in this area. I today you go online and learn a lot of things. We got to go back to school, and ICAN is doing a lot in that area, trying to help members to pick up in that area of IT soft skills. Very important, because we need to understand some things happening in the industry. We need to be able to use the system to make inquiry. We should be able to use applications, software applications. And for example, your client is on Oracle and you go there to audit. If you have not done it before, then it's better you go to school and know how to access such a system and then work through it. Today, nobody is going to give you paper ledger that will contain all these things. You can imagine an organization running 20,000, 25,000 transactions in a month, and you need to pick your sample, you need to run. So it's not like in those days. You don't pick samples anymore. You too have to use IT tools that will go into the system and pick some exceptions and work on those exceptions. And those that are conversant with such systems, we know that there is a section for audit there. You visit the place, you see some exceptions. It gives you some exception reports. Then when you align with the internal auditor too, you get some work they have done in that area, which you can concentrate on. But IT is very key. If you are not good in IT tools, it's a no-go area, because one will mess himself up. There are so many things there to understand. But the point is, picking that skill is very easy, because you go in for faculty courses in ICAN and MCPE, and then you also do some other online courses. You read some books, then you pick up the skill, and that's just the additional thing. Those skills, in addition to our auditing skills that we had already taken from ICAN during our training. With that, you'll be on the run. But without that, it will be a difficult cup of tea.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wale Awe, for that wonderful submission, taking us some of the skill set that are unique to auditing. So we must have good IT background while we add it to the fundamentals that we have actually gained while we are being called into the audit training. I want to ask, to what extent has fintech contributed to the growth businesses in Nigeria? Is it possible to quantify the contribution to fintech growth on the GDP growth, sir?
Yeah, it is possible. The contribution is enormous. You can see that the first people that came on board, the government thought they were jokers and all that. But at a point, government had to be interested, CBI had to be interested. Their influence and sway was so much that orthodox banks had to begin to work in association with them, setting up their own fintech organizations or working in partnership with fintech companies to run fintech organizations. And you will see the carriers too setting up their fintech arms. It's so much that some are making as much as 3 billion transactions in a month. Just one fintech company, 3 billion transactions in a month. And then they are rich into the nook and cranny of Nigeria, villages where there are no banks, the unbanked, the underbanked areas. They penetrate to every area. You don't need to be in a town or city anymore. Villages where there are no banks now, you see people with POS. There are villages there are places that are even local government headquarters. No branch of any bank in such a place. Yet people they go into the POS operators, collect money, and deposit money, transfer money to people, and it's as if they are already banked. So you are working with an organization, and you work in a local government where there's no bank. You receive your alert. You can also transfer. So many things are going on now in the cyberspace that when we look at the value is enormous, and they are in billions. I know one 3 years ago, 2 years ago, sorry, his turnover was 26 billion in a year. 26 billion, just one organization. So they are all in that range. And you see how they raise money when they do fundraising from abroad. Some of them will get $1 billion. Some of them now they have crossed the era of millions. They are in billions. So they are big organizations, and they are making a part. In employment, they are employing so many people working for them, and they are also generating some employment downstream. The POS operators all over the place, the people that now transact business through the loan they took from these fintech companies. You just go online, they look at your transactions, they look at your history. Do you know they go as far as looking at what you do on WhatsApp, look at your LinkedIn, and see the comments you pass there and all that. They use all those key information to decide whether to give you a loan or not. They also collaborate with your bankers, your SY bankers, if you ever have a bank, and see your transactions history so that they will know whether to give you loan. So the loan is given online. You don't have to visit them. You don't have to go through protocols. And so many have gotten loans through that, and they have floated their medium and small scale organizations, and they are doing well today, employing 2 or 3 people. So their impact on the economy is enormous. And that is why the government had recognized them, and they keep registering new fintech organizations by the day. And CBN is also working hand in hand with them. And the regulators are bringing out new laws to make things easy for them. And these are millennials, young guys. They understand technology more than old guys, and they are ready to fly anytime. If not for the intervention of the central bankers all over the world that said we need to slow down on cryptos, they will have taken over the whole space. So they are agile, and they are everywhere. So the impact on the economy is enormous. I don't have the statistics before me, but in Africa, I kept growing. It kept growing. I did a work on it 2 years ago. It kept growing, and by now the size to our GDP, I don't know the percentage, but it's sizable. The last I know is 12.5 or so percent, but I don't know the current contribution to GDP, but it's enormous.
Oh, that is a very wonderful submission, Dr. Wale Awe, on the contribution of fintech to the growth of businesses in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, it has indeed created a lot of employment and revenue generation to families here and there. That's a submission. Apology to our viewers today. may not be able to take some of our questions because of a few technical issues that we have. I promise you that this will be definitely worked out. But Dr. Wale, while we proceed, I want you
Yes, sir.
to give us, based on your practical knowledge, you've been in this business for a while, and
Yes.
looking at your background, what are your ratings of a Nigeria professional accountant when conducting audits in the fintech environment? Share with us based on your experience.
Yes. We are not doing badly. Though most of the jobs, especially the big ones, go to the big four. But we are still, yes. The fact is that when you look at the big four, they are still Nigerians. And we are the ones running the big four. So that apart, and there haven't been crisis. If there have been crisis, we will have been hearing it in the press. And all the while, the fintech, they take off. I think the first one was Paga, and others started coming in. They are big ones now. I don't want it to look like advertisement. So the accountants, are people, like I was told in Gambia at a time. Do you know Gambia and so many other African countries, they adopted IFRS before Nigeria. And some of them were coming to Nigeria for training. And we hadn't adopted at that time. And we were in the central bank in one of those countries. And somebody was saying, he said, look at us. We are going to Nigeria for training. And the people there are the ones training us. And yet, they haven't adopted the IFRS. We fixed the day for 2014 then. But some of them had gone on before us. But what I see is that people are robust, and we take our time to learn, to see that we are strong enough before we start anything. There hasn't been any crisis. Our people have been able to run the audit of these organizations. It's not a matter of the fintech companies going abroad to bring in audit firms from abroad. No. Or that when the job comes, Nigerians working the before are incapable, and you now have to bring in expatriates. No.
Experts.
We are still the ones doing it. And that's why I mentioned earlier, ICAN itself running programs on IT. That has been a major contributor. The institute is not sleeping in this area, and it's helping us. And our members, the kind of things we went through in the era of, you fail in one paper, you fail in all. That rugged training, that is what is keeping us on. And those of us that are trained in in the big four, who are seeing it on the field before we met it in the examination hall.
In the exam hall.
And so you just pass another. And if since then you don't sleep, you keep moving on with the trend. It's just an add-on. You're adding on to your knowledge on daily basis. Those days it was CAT. It's beyond CAT now. So you move on. And then they will say, audit around the computer. What are you auditing around now? No. People now go into the system, they interrogate the system, and they get the session report. And our people, it's not everybody, but our people are strong in that area, and that's why they're highly respected abroad. Any field where they find themselves, they move in and they cope. They do a good job. They haven't been crisis, and that's kudos to ICAN and to the members.
Thank you very much for that wonderful submission. The Institute is out there to educate our members, to equip them. And I want to share on this platform, there are a lot of FCPD programs that the Institute is bringing up every now and then. Even in the syllabus adjustment, we've been able to fit in to make sure that we move with the trend of activity as it unfolds. And I think I want to go with that, your submission, alluding to the fact that our institute, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, is up to the task, producing seasoned professional all the time. And I think Rotimi Ogunleye is applauding you all the way from Ado Ekiti.
Okay.
A lot of them have actually got connected because you are here. Sir, as we draw the curtain of the program for today, time will not always be our friend on this impactful subject. I just want your counsel. You've mentioned some skill sets, but I want to ask, are there special knowledge or special skill? Not my words, sir, special or special tool that professional accountant requires to equip themselves in order to be able to be on top of their game, especially given the rapid changes that we are seeing in the accountancy ecosystem.
Yes, there's a word I will understand, I will underline there, rapid changes. You know, the rate at which things are changing now is like 1,000% per year. The special skill needed is that you are always in touch, you are online, you are watching the trend, and you are moving in. You know, what will help us as accountants is to recommend the best for your client. The highest of all the financial institutions you may be auditing may just be a microfinance bank. Recommend the best for them, follow them through that, they institute that best practice. Let their system be automated, not just as there. Let it be automated, and make sure that they put in all the requisite tools. You are auditing a microfinance bank in a remote village somewhere. I recommend to them that their system will be run on applications. Let them have ATM. Let them work with their correspondent bank and get an ATM in their banking hall or in their environment. Make sure they have the best of the best. Recommend the best for them. Let them institute the best controls in the environment. Give them the best that you can give as an auditor. Recommend the best for them. And when you want, as you are doing this, you will stress yourself to get the best from colleagues, from anywhere, from online training and all that, so that you can impart on them. It is in the process of giving your client the best of the services that you yourself will be, it's like you are forcing yourself to move up every day. Once you put yourself on such a pedestal, you will discover that you are measuring up, and they too will be consulting you. You will see some of your junior ones reaching out to you. Oga, I got a job, I don't know how to do it. They ask this question. Oh, okay, I'll get back to you in 2 days time. You may not know all the answers. Then you go back and do something about it. You may spend a whole day just to attend to that junior person who you trained. But by so doing, you are also bringing yourself up to date. But unless you do this, you will lack. There are so many skills that are picked. I've never handled such a client, but some of my boys that are trained, they handle such clients and they consult me, and I go back to books. I begin to research, and I now tell them, do this, do this, do this, and they do it, and it succeeded. That skill set is mine. I'm not collecting money for it. I won't say because I'm offering it free, I can't devote a whole day to attend to their questions. I will do that. But at the end of the day, you get the satisfaction for the fact that you're on top of the game in your profession. That is all that we need. Our background is robust enough. It's just for us to keep abreast of developments in the industry.
Very wonderful way to end the show today, Dr. Olawale Wale Awe, FCA. You have actually done justice to the topic of today on the auditing of fintech. And I want to believe that our viewers are globally connected, are benefited enormously from your wealth of knowledge today. I want to believe when next we call, we'll definitely make ourselves available for us. Thank you very much for being part of the program today. And also to our viewers, before I go, let me quickly run through again some of our announcements today. It's a day of celebration with us in the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria as we mark the 57th year of our existence. And this we have done immensely by contributing to the GDP of this environment, by contributing to the growth and development of the nation called Nigeria. Not just that alone, we have span every space of businesses across the world, because every organization requires the service of an accountant. And 57-year accounting, we have done our best, and continually we will continue to make our impact even in the space of our businesses. Once again, to all the members, congratulations. Happy birthday to us all as we mark this 57th anniversary. And also, let me remind you of the 52nd Annual Accountant Conference. You just have to be there. You need to make a date with the 58th president of our great institute. And also, it's an avenue for you to network and meet new people, even in this rapid changing environment that we have found ourselves. Come and give yourself more knowledge, equip yourself the more. And this will be holding at the ICC and Sheraton Hotel in Abuja. The topic of discussion is Nigeria adopting sustainability for economic prosperity. And let me also remind us that the Governing Council has actually approved the pathway for members of approved IFAC recognized PAOs to become ICAN members. I sincerely want to appreciate you. On this note, I'll be cutting the show today. To see you again next week, Tuesday, when we will be talking on another insightful topic with another wonderful guest to educate us. While we do that, I remain your guest, Olusegun Okunade. Till we meet next week, Tuesday, stay safe and get connected. Bye for now.